Hello students, this is Abdelkader Ouda. Welcome again to ES 1036 video series. In this video, I will give you a quick introduction to programming languages and have a look at your first Java program. So let's get started. Remember, in the fetch execute cycle, we mentioned before the CPU read and execute program instructions. The instructions the CPU understands are just a stream of bits, a stream of zeros and ones only. This is called a machine language. It's hard for us to write machine language to program the computer. So, programming languages were invented to ease the task for programming, by which we use words instead of numbers. In order for the CPU to understand these programming languages, we need a translator that converts the words we write in the program into a stream of bits, a machine language. This is done by a special software, we call it a compiler. So for now, the compiler is a software that converts the high-level programming language into a machine code. This table gives you an idea about some of the old and current programming languages. For example, Basics, Fortran, COBOL, Pascal, and so on. It's hard today to find an application that has been written by the top four programming languages, because it's so old. So for example, Basics, the first compiler released back to 1964, Fortran 65, the COBOL, the standard version of COBOL back to 1968, and Pascal back to 1970. Because I'm old enough in this field, I got the opportunity to learn and work using these programming languages. Alright, since we mentioned about the release date or the release year of these old versions or old programming languages, let me mention also here, for the sake of comparison, C++, the kind of object-oriented programming language has released, or the standard compiler released back to 1996, C# from 1995 to 2000, Java, the first version 1.0, has released in 1995. The specific feature and the differences among these programming languages are beyond our discussion in this video. So let us talk on the history of Java. Java is a general-purpose object-oriented programming language originally developed by Sun Microsystems. Currently has been acquired by Oracle Corporation. It declares the principle, or they are the first to declare the principle of write once and run anywhere, or WORA. That means write your program, compile it only once, and run it on many different computers that has Java engine. More on this later on. The original project for Java has been initiated by James Gosling in 1991, and at that time they called the project Awk. However, the first release of Java version 1.0 in 1995. In 2014, Java 8 was released. This version considered the most popular version among Java developers because it supports long-term support, or it has the long-term support feature. That means it supports version 8 and keep supporting version 8 even when they have higher versions. By the date of this video, The recent or the latest version of Java is Java 14 that released on March 17, 2020. Well, so what is Java program made of? This is very simple and complete Java program. I will assume that this is the first time you see Java program, and I don't ask you to understand now what does this program do, of course later. But I'm using this line of codes to define some Java terms. We can see here we have a word like public, class, static, void. Mainly all these words that are written by dark blue, we call them Java keywords. And sometimes we call them reserved words. Why we call them reserved words? Because Java compiler used this word in order to build the application, and each of these words has a specific meaning. We see that also we have some symbols here: the brace, open brace, closing brace, square brackets, open square bracket, close square bracket, semicolons, colon. All of these symbols, we call them punctuation. We see also here we have this multiplication sign. This is here denote that we have an operation. So we have here multiplication operation in this line of code. This line of code that ends by a semicolon, we call it Java statement. Mainly most of the Java statements end by a semicolon, like this one, and this one, and this one, and also this one. Although it has been written within 2 lines, but it forms one Java statement. The rule that dictates these rules, that if we open a bracket here, we have to close it here, and each statement should end here by semicolon. This rule called syntax rules. So the syntax rule dictates how we write the Java program in the right way. And by mistake, if we miss to write this closing bracket, then we have an error. That error, we call it syntax error. Okay, so we need now to talk about variables and how to declare variables in the Java program. Programs work with data. In order for a program to work with a piece of data, this data needs to be stored somewhere in the computer memory. This is why we declare variables. Variables is a name that represents a location in the computer memory. Variables are created by a programmer who assign it a programmer-defined identifier, or simply variable name. In this Java statement, the variable hours is created as an integer and assigned the value 40. It can be integers or any other types. We will talk about this later. Remember, variable is a name we give to represent location in the main memory. So what does it mean by int hours equal 40? It's simply we declare variables, or we define a location in the computer memory with the name hours, and we store the value 40 on that location. Alright, so I will stop here and continue our discussion in other videos. Goodbye.